Okay, well, welcome to Roma Termini train station. I have just dropped my bag off again in preparation for tonight's sleeper train, but I don't really want to be lugging it around all day because I want to do some touristing, and that's like 12 hours away. I don't really fancy carrying around my backpack for like 12 hours. It's nice in here. Feels a bit like one of the big London ones, like Victoria or Waterloo or Paddington or something. Sleeper train was alright. I don't know whether I mentioned that or not. Got a bit of sleep, I reckon 5 or 6 hours, but broken. But to be fair, I slept through from about Bologna at about half midnight, pretty much to Rome at just gone 6. So it's not bad going. Hopefully I'll get a bit more tonight when I've got an actual bed, but you never know. So yeah, plan for today is to just do a bit of touristing. So I'm going to do something that I didn't do last time I came. I'm going to buy a metro ticket because I don't feel like walking the entire length of Rome all day, and things I want to see are different sides of the city. So it's only €7 for a 20€ ticket, which I think is pretty good value. Well, this is what commuter time Rome looks like. It's 8 in the morning, it's packed. I'm not sure this is actually going to be much more pleasant than walking. Well, I'm glad to be off that. I think a walk would have been more pleasant. It's fucking packed. Look at the state of that. I mean, it's rush hour, so I can't really blame them, but bloody hell. Well, it's not too bad to be greeted off the metro with this, is it? One of the wonders of the world, and I'm not bloody surprised. It's absolutely phenomenal. So, I don't know whether I'm being slightly done over here, but I spoke to a person who said that you can't buy tickets on the day at the Colosseum. Seems reasonable enough. You can't at other attractions, and I assume they are probably sold out. So I've signed up for a guided tour, which is going to do an hour through the Colosseum with me, and then I can go to the Palatine Hill and the Forum for €40. Seems perfectly reasonable to me. So I've signed up to do that, so I will spend the morning doing that, I think, which sounds pretty good to me. But I don't know how much I'll film on the tour. It's always a bit awkward when you got a tour. Well, that worked out quite well. Within an hour of being here, I've managed to sort out this tour for the Colosseum, and I've managed to get a ticket online for the Vatican. So that'll be good. I mean, they're two of the big things that you want to see in Rome, so pretty glad I managed to get those sorted.
Italian too?
Sì, un po'.
Poco?
Sì. So this is it, we're inside the Colosseum. My tour has ended. It was interesting, the guide was brilliant, but it wasn't all it was promised to be. We did a lot of queuing when we were sort of insinuated that there wouldn't be very much queuing, but it is what it is. We had a tour guide for about 2.5 hours for €25, can't really complain at that. But this is it, absolutely magnificent. Well, you can really get more of a scale of it when you're down ground level. It's enormous. It was the largest man-made building in the known world for a period. Enormous. It was 4 stories, you can see the people up there, 4 stories tall, all the way around. And it had a roof. Made of sails that they could pull open and close depending on the weather. It's unbelievable. The level of architecture and invention to build something like this is just absolutely crazy. Well, that's the end of my Colosseum tour. Lasted a bit longer than I thought. Well, they said it was a 45-minute to an hour long tour. We ended up being 2.5 hours, so it's a good time. Good job I'm not exactly pressed for time today. Still got another 11 hours until my train, something stupid like that, so I head over to the Vatican after having some lunch, I think, and that should finish off. One big positive of Rome is that you can get free water everywhere. really handy. So what's quite good is that with any ticket for the Colosseum, you also get entrance to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. So we're going to go into the Roman Forum now, and we're going to look around at some more ancient Roman stuff. Right, well, before I go into the Forum, I just grabbed myself a sandwich because I'm quite hungry and I fancy to sit.
South America with all their stuff.
Well, this is the Foro Romano, which is the main road that would run through the middle of the Forum, and the Forum being the centre of the administrative city of ancient Rome. This is where everything was done. This is where the Senate was. This is where the basilicas were. This is where the temples were. This was where everything was in ancient. So I was just reading, and the Forum under the Republican period was the centre of the city. And then when we get into the imperial period of Rome, after Julius Caesar and Augustus, they start making their own forums elsewhere in the city. And the administrative buildings here end up turning into mostly temples. And then it becomes the sort of like sacred bit of the city, which makes sense. So this temple by there behind me, that's quite an important one as well, actually, in the history of Rome. It was the temple of one of the main important cults. This was the temple of the Vestal Virgins. The Vestal Virgins were a cult who tended like an eternal flame, basically. And they were only allowed to be virgin women, and no men, with the exception of the emperor, were allowed to go inside. Up there where all those people are stood, that is the Palatine Hill. That's where the city of Rome was first founded. All this bit down here was a swampland until they decided to drain it to make more space. So up there, that's where the city really started. Romulus and Remus, all that stuff. Well, this is one of the most ancient ruins of all of Rome. This is the old Temple of Saturn. The temple has existed here since the 6th century BC. So that means it's over 2,500 years old, and it's still standing. That means it's longer from that temple being built to Julius Caesar than it is from, say, Henry VIII or America being discovered to the present day. It's crazy. One, please. Right then, we're back in the metro now. Hopefully it's going to be less busy than it was earlier. Heading across the city to the Vatican. There's a book to go in there this afternoon, so we'll see how hectic this is. The answer to my question about the metro, yes, it was as busy earlier. I think it's just really busy all the time. You can really tell when you're slightly out of the city centre, because there's a big old market selling tap for £1. Well, there we are. That's the entrance to the Vatican museums. So everywhere inside this wall is the Vatican City, which is a different country to Italy. Oh, sorry about that slight interruption. A fella in a suit started talking to me, so I figured I'd better listen and stop talking to you lot. So yeah, Vatican City is its own country. I've been to the Vatican and Italy before this trip, so neither of them are new countries, but still. Book of the Dead. That's mad. That's quite mad. I've never seen one of those before. Some of this stuff in here is the most stunning works of art and ceilings and decoration that you've ever seen. But it's so busy and it's so stuffy, you just can't appreciate it properly. It's a sad reality of it. See whether I can get away with any photos. Well, I was pretty unsuccessful in getting a video in the Sistine Chapel because they are very strict. I got some good photos, so I'll pop them in now. Yeah. Well, here's something interesting that you might want to know. If you get to the day and you haven't bought a ticket for the Vatican and you want to go, just turn up late. It's about 5 o'clock now. And there was a queue all the way down this earlier, and there's no one here now, so you'd be able to walk straight in. So it's worth bearing in mind. You'd still have a few hours. I don't think it closes till 7:30. So, and we're back in the Vatican, but we're in the other part of the Vatican now. We're in St. Peter's. Free to go in, but I'll be honest, I don't really fancy that queue that's snaking all the way around, so I'll probably give it a miss. I've been in before. It is incredible, but the Vatican out. So I learned an interesting fact today. The top of the basilica, the cross at the top of the basilica, that legally has to remain the highest point of Rome. So there will be no buildings built that are taller than that in Rome. That's why there's no skyscrapers. This is the Pantheon. It's one of the oldest churches in the world. It was originally a Roman temple built in the 100s, but then it was turned into a church in the 600s. You see from the front is the large round section at the back, which is the actual building itself. This is just a colonnade at the front, sort of forum. But sadly, I have missed the entry by about 2 minutes, so that's really annoying. But it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, but it would have been cool to go in. Well, I'm just going to have a little pre-dinner snack because I'm starving and I haven't eaten anything apart from that sandwich this morning, so I got some arancini. Well, those arancini absolutely hit the spot. They were fantastic. Problem is that I've realised I haven't sat down all day, and now I don't want to move. So, not ideal because I've got something stupid like 4 hours until my train still. So, I've got to kill time somewhere. I'm not just going to go and sit in the train station for 4 hours. So, wander up to the Trevi Fountains, I think. Well, we are at possibly the last stop of the touristy route. We are at the Spanish Steps, which are significantly nicer looking than I remember them looking like. I don't remember them looking like this. This is lovely. It's also definitely the Instagram photo shoot spot today in Rome, which I find quite amusing actually. But hello, we are back at Roma Termini station. I've decided to get here a bit early because I am tired. Because I just looked at my phone and I've done nearly 30,000 steps today, and I've sat down for about 10 minutes all day probably. So I'm going to grab my bag, I'm going to go and have some tea, I'm going to try and find somewhere to charge all of my stuff, because I've been struggling with that, because my European adapter that I bought doesn't work in Italian plugs. So for the time I've been in Italy, I have just been rinsing my power banks. So now none of them have any juice. So everything's going to die. So that's not ideal. Okay, I am on a hunt for a cafe or something with bloody plugs in Roma Termini station. And so far I am at a sushi place, and I've never eaten sushi in my life, and the concept of it makes me feel sick. So I don't think that's going to be a winner. Ooh, we've got a Starbucks here. That might have plugs. It does have plugs. Winning. Right, just had a lovely hour's rest in a Starbucks, which was not where I was anticipating finishing my time in Rome, but it was the only place that had plugs that wasn't a sushi restaurant. Managed to charge batteries up on the camera batteries for a bit, charge my phone up for a bit, so it's all good. Right, now I've got about an hour now till the train, so I need to go and find somewhere else to hang out now. Starbucks is just closed, so